enough. So his secret fact actually involves me, which is that the first time we met was because he told a story at a storytelling show that I really liked, and then I saw him afterwards, and the story was about a dead horse. And so in my phone, he is Chris Horse. And when my straight lady friends ask, I'm like, I can't tell you why. Please welcome Chris Ryan Graham.
I think I can die now after that introduction. Thank you so much, Marcia. Happy birthday. Thanks for inviting me to be here today. Another fun fact about me is that I have an active interest in etiquette or manners, what are sometimes called the social graces. Now, I'm not particularly pedantic about this. I don't go around correcting people, but I do have the level of interest where I buy books about etiquette and read them. So I brought some examples here tonight. One is the fairly well-known Emily Post's Guide to Etiquette. This is actually my father's copy. And I also have esoteric volumes such as How to Talk with Practically Anybody About Practically Anything by Barbara Walters. So one of the interesting things about etiquette is that it actually is almost entirely political. So most of our social graces have origins that are nakedly patriarchal. A classic example would be that a man holds the door open for a woman because she's not strong enough to do it for herself. Now, I think this was sort of plausible in medieval England, where a castle gate is just pretty fucking heavy. It's clearly not true now. And, even in medieval England, it probably wasn't universal. So what I like about etiquette, though, the point of that is that I like the opposite of the politics of etiquette, which is that I think when you strip out all of the politics and the status, what you're left with is this collection of fairly subtle gestures that let you tell somebody just that you're thinking about them. So, for example, if I hold the door open for you, it's not because I don't think you can do it or because I want to establish my status. It's simply that I want to pay you this fairly simple courtesy. I think that's a good thing. But this is my theory. Not everybody shares this theory. And more importantly, it's impossible to know in advance how a person is going to react to your putative courtesy. And this creates opportunities for misunderstanding. For example, so it's 2008. I'm living in New York, working as an attorney. And on a monthly basis, I would go out to dinner with a friend of mine, let's call her Kagan, who is also an attorney. We went to school together. She's living in New York, and Kagan is easily in the top 5 smartest people that I have in my life. She is an amazingly impressive thinker about the world. And so we would always go to dinner at these sort of hipstery, sceney kind of places. And I always thought prior to this that, like seating in a restaurant is essentially arbitrary. This is not true at all. Seating in a restaurant is actually like parking or valet parking at a casino. They always put the really posh cars out front, the limos and the Lamborghinis, and all the really shitty cars, or even the just regular cars in the back where nobody can see. So seating in a restaurant is like this. All of the beautiful people and the couples, they go out front in the window, and everybody else not in the window. So needless to say, Kagan and I would always be sat up at these really sort of posh tables, and it has nothing to do with me. A fact that was confirmed when I arrived once early for our reservation, was duly sat at the regular person table, and then Kagan arrived, and they just fucking moved us to a better table. Yeah. So there we are at our super spiffy table. And the restaurants, they're always pretty small, so the tables are close together. And the couple next to us is about 4 inches away, and it emerges quickly that they're on a date, and also that the date isn't going well, apparently because these are the most horrendously, comically mismatched people you could ever imagine. Let me paint it for you. On the one hand, imagine this intelligent, articulate, attractive woman, just a beautifully consummate person, sitting opposite the early John Mayer. His shirt is untucked, his trousers are made of denim, He's Think about it. He's wearing sneakers. It's unclear how he got into the restaurant wearing sneakers. And this sort of horrendous mismatch is even more acute because they are talking about politics, which is such a high-risk gambit on a first date. And this woman, who is intelligent and articulate, is also very conservative. And she is just bludgeoning this man in his feeble, liberal counterattack. I mean, it was like watching a spider get its legs torn off by a really well-dressed child. And this guy was clearly a nice guy, but just totally outgunned. You know, he's like bewildered and confused. His worldview's getting sort of torn apart. He doesn't really understand. And what's more, he's just really sad because the date isn't going well. Yeah, this is what I thought. My heart went out to this man. And then it occurred to me, I know, etiquette will save this man. So in due course, his date, she gets up ostensibly to go to the bathroom, and I lean over to him, because we're only about this far away, at which point Kagan, in her infinite wisdom, foreshadowing horrendous circumstances to come, starts kicking me under the table. I ignore her. I lean over to the man and I say, when she comes back, you should stand up. Which, P.S., is a totally unappreciated etiquette gesture, to stand up when your date comes to or leaves the table. Universally appreciated. Almost universally. So it takes a few beats for this sort of comment to register on the man, because he's sort of beaten down like a boxer, and like, who's this fucking stranger speaking to him at the restaurant? I don't know what this is about. But eventually, it kind of sinks in, and his chest inflates. He's like, yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. I'm totally gonna, thanks. I'm just like, yeah, you do that, buddy. And I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great now, and I look over at Kagan. She's not even looking at me now, which I've come to discover is her symbol for you totally just screwed somebody. But whatever, how can you not see that I just helped this man? So, in due course, the date returns, and he stands up like a champ. And she looks a little bit confused, and she's like, why are you standing? And he doesn't miss a beat. He says, because you're here. So good. At which point, this woman responds, no, it's okay. I already paid. You see, what had happened was that the date had been going so poorly that she pretended to go to the bathroom so she could just pay the entire bill and they could leave. Which is a pretty hard truth to realize when you're sitting down. But now, thanks to me, this guy's fucking standing up in the middle of the restaurant. And he sort of like doubles over and he's like stuttering. To my total shame, I look totally down. I have no involvement in this at all. I have no idea what's going on. I just feel bad for this guy. And he stutters. She gets her. They eventually leave, finally. And I don't look up until safely they're definitely gone. And I, of course, look over, and there's Kagan, and she's staring at me, shaking her head, looking so disappointed. And shortly thereafter followed the ultimate patriarchal etiquette gesture. I paid for our dinner. Thank you.
Chris Graham.